Okay. I'm gonna hit the live button now.
It's going down.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're live. I should probably not have the microphone that close to me. Welcome to the live stream, everyone. If you can hear me, and in a moment, if you can hear Tyler, we'd appreciate some yays or nays on the audio. And of course, I forgot to silence my watch, so it'll be dinging.
Silence everything but the watch.
Yeah. Anyway, so yays or nays if the audios are good, I'd appreciate it. So we know that everything is working properly, because things, audio sucks all the time. Tyler, probably some talk in there from your end. Make sure we're good there.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, this is me talking, but my mom apparently needs help. She's at Verizon. Give me 1 second.
All right, man.
I'm so sorry, y'all, but my mom, of course.
Got some audio.
Panic attack.
Saying everything is good. Welcome, Dennis, to the stream. Cyrus, Sean, two different Seans. You guys are gonna be confusing if you talk at the same time. That's apparently a really common name. Welcome. You can hear my voice rambling up your 212-inch subwoofers. I don't have the deep voice to make that really work. If you guys had Epos Fox on the podcast, he has a really deep voice. All right. So I'm going to test the scenes here, make sure we're ready to go when Tyler's got his stuff going. Yeah, even though none of these these large single camera versions, neither of them are centered worth a damn. One day I will fix those. Right now, only nerds and neckbeards use Linux. I don't know if that's true. I mean, my dad uses Linux, so he's not a nerd or a neckbeard. Anyways, welcome to the stream. For those of you who are catching this post live stream, welcome to you also. Timestamps will be in the video description, probably around 8 o'clock Eastern time. That's usually when I get around back to it. So if you want to skip around, those should show up around then. So you don't have to listen to the nonsense if you don't want to. So let's go ahead and get started. You ready to go?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Excellent. All right. So I'm going to go to the proper workspace here. I'm going to hit record in Audacity. I'm going to hit record in OBS, and you can do the claps whenever you like.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
I think that was excellent. I don't know that we've ever done better, honestly. Probably when I go to edit it, I'll realize we're like way off. It just looked good because of the latency, but we'll see how it goes. All right. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and get started. Hey everybody, welcome to the Linux Cast. I'm your host, Matt.
And I'm Tyler.
Yes, he is. For those of you who are watching the video version of this, Tyler is not as stoned as he looked. I just figured I'd jump right in and say that before somebody said it in the chat. We just might as well get it over with. He's just feeling under the weather. Don't worry about it. Anyways, so this is the Linux Cast. We talk about Linuxy things, usually the news, and that's what we're going to do today. We have 6 wonderful news topics for you today. But first, as always, we always talk about what we've been doing this week. And this front end section is a little bit in flux, so prepare for something new to come here in the future. But as of right now, Tyler, what have you been doing this week?
Well, just diving deeper into the Apple ecosystem. My sister wants to get a smaller iPad, so I've got her bigger one, and I've been using that. and it's been, I don't know, it's just been really nice. Like the whole Apple ecosystem, it's very nice. Although I will say, it's made my life a lot more hectic because I don't know, I've never really been able to carry around so much computing all at once. So like I'm just even more never away from my computer, which is impressive. I didn't know that was possible. I thought I already spent way too much time with my computer, but like now it's like in my bed with me, which is a problem. Um, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I've been doing. I I also did get to go down and try out a new Mexican joint, which was fantastic. So yeah, I had some like massive, massive enchiladas. It was great. But
Well,
yeah, pretty much it.
thank you for now
What about
making me hungry.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome. I'm glad I can.
See, I made chili this morning, so I have that on the slow cooker, simmering. So
Ooh.
that'll be for later. Screw you guys. We're not doing a podcast. I'm going to eat. Anyways, so I have some things to talk about. So if you follow me on Mastodon, link in the video description, hashtag YouTuber. I do that every time. I had some interesting computer problems, and I've never actually talked about the origin of those computer problems. So the end result was that I ended up having to reinstall Fedora. But the thing that caused all my issues, I use Ranger as my terminal file manager, and recently so I've talked about my external hard drive before that made horrendous noises, like really, really bad. Well, they got way worse about a week ago. I mean, like, not healthy noises whatsoever. So I hurried up and backed all my stuff up on there. Like, and I'm talking like 3 terabytes worth of stuff. I got all that onto my other external hard drive, which is brand new. And I backed it all up into a folder named the same thing as that old external hard drive. And, I just planned to kind of leave all that stuff in there, but somewhere along the lines, what was it? Probably like Sunday evening or sometime this weekend, I decided I was just going to move all the stuff out of the directory that I put it in and just have it in the root directory of that external hard drive, so that it was all in just like in normal places. And I used Ranger to do it. And the first directory that I was going to move was the backup directory, which is like 2 terabytes in size. It's like the biggest directory on there. I knew it was going to take a while, so I started it in the morning. The problem is I forgot about it. And so that evening, I come back to my computer. It was a day off. I hadn't done anything. I come back. I had completely forgotten that I had Ranger in the background moving stuff from one directory to another on that hard drive. So I noticed up in my polybar, it said I had 168 updates. So I did an update. And as I always do when I do an update, I rebooted my computer, completely forgetting that Ranger was in a scratch pad moving stuff around, because scratch pads are hidden, right? You don't see it. And it turns out that your computer does not like it when you shut down in the middle of moving 2 terabytes worth of data from one place to another. So that hard drive is always in FS tab. It gets mounted every time the system comes up. And because of all of my shenanigans, not remembering that it was moving stuff, it could no longer see that hard drive. So when it booted into Fedora, I got some really weird errors saying it was in emergency mode, and to try to diagnose it that way, it would not let me log in because by default, Fedora doesn't have a root password. You only have a user password with sudo privileges. So you need a root password. So I ended up having to go into my void install, which I'm testing now for a video later on, and chroot into my Fedora install, set a root password, go back, try to get in, but it wouldn't let me log in as a root password because it said the password was wrong. So I was like, maybe I mistyped it or something like that. So I went back into void, chrooted in again, changed the password again, went back into the Fedora install. It still wouldn't take it. So I did it a third time, this time ignoring my normal password and just setting the most simple password ever. And so I know I didn't mistype at that time. It still wouldn't take it. So I got a Mastodon, started bitching. I'm like, why does anybody put up with this stuff anymore? Fedora sucks and all this stuff. It was horrible. Like, even though I still love Fedora. And it turns out you have to unlock the root password as well as create one. So I tried that, and that allowed me to get in and remove the line in the FS tab to, remove that hard drive so it wasn't trying to mount. And that got me into SDDM. The problem is that it still wouldn't let me log in. Even to my personal account, it wouldn't let me log in. And so I rebooted and went into Grub and booted directly into Bash, which you can do. Basically, you can set Bash as your init system. And I went into the Bash, there, and reset my password, knowing with a very simple password, so I knew I wasn't, uncommenting or typing in wrong. Still won't let me log in, and at that point, I've been working on it for like 4 or 5 hours, and like I still had.
This sounds like a headache for sure.
I was like, screw this. I'm reinstalling Fedora. I thought for maybe 30 seconds or so, just try a different distro. I thought maybe I'd go back to Arch or something like that, but no, Fedora's been really good to me, so I stayed on Fedora. And yeah, I've been basically since that time for the last 4 or 5 days trying to get everything back the way it was. Luckily,
so
I had backups.
Well, thank God.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that, but I was just assuming you did. But I guess the moral of your story is even really good distros don't like it when you just shut them off during, really any file transfers, but definitely massive ones. No matter what. Because Fedora is a really good distro. Like, really good.
The lesson that I learned was that not to use Ranger as a file transfer tool. Because Ranger has a progress bar for small files, but anything larger than a certain point, it doesn't show a progress bar. And even then, the progress bar, when it does show, is just a spinning slash mark. Just rotate the slash, that's all you see. So, yeah. Plus I just completely forgot about it, and it was a scratch pad. Usually I'd use Crusader. I don't know why I chose to use Ranger this time. And yeah, that really messed me over. And the thing is like I bitched about Linux and all this stuff on Mastodon. I was like in a really foul mood, but it was not Linux's fault at all. The same thing would have happened. I mean, maybe not. It may not have ended the same way, but I still would have had hard drive problems if I tried the same thing on Windows or Mac. It does shutting down midway through a file transfer just does not. It's not okay. It's not good. So luckily, I did manage to get the external hard drive back up and running. It doesn't look like there's anything corrupt on it, which is honestly completely shocking. Like I figured at least that the folder that I was transferring would be full of files that were corrupted or missing or whatever. No, everything seems to be fine. But still, it was not a good time. And yeah, that's basically what I've been spending my time doing on Linux this last week. I switched to a new window manager for a little while. I switched to Awesome, and yeah, I hate Lua. And I do not like Lua at all. And Josh is in the chat. Lua is the easiest programming language, and several people have told me Lua is amazing and really simple. And compared to like something like Haskell or Assembly, it probably is. But yeah, I just don't care for it all that much. And honestly,
I like how you loop Haskell and Assembly in the same group.
Yeah, they're I know. The same. I talked about this in a video that I made about Awesome. There's actually nothing wrong with Lua. It's a me problem. It's just I just don't enjoy it. I don't know why.
I mean, I'm the same there. I agree with you.
I just don't care for it. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm sure it's perfectly simple. If I put the effort into it and actually tried to learn it enough to actually do Awesome, it would be fine. But I have such a mental block in my head when it comes to Lua and Awesome, especially Awesome. Like, it's just not. There's something in there that it doesn't make me want to use it. Anyways, I switched back to i3. I have put Awesome on my laptop so that I can actually make a long-term review of it later on. But I'm not using it as a daily driver. I couldn't do it. Lua is the easiest if you don't know anything else. Okay. Maybe it wasn't you that told me it
All
was easiest.
right.
Okay. Excuse me. All right. So that is that section. Moving on to the contact information, which is the thing that I always manage to, screw up every week. So we'll try to get through it. So if you want to find all of the information about the podcast, you can do so at thelinuxcast.org. There you'll find past episodes. I have not done a very good job of keeping that up to date in the last couple of weeks for personal reasons, but I'll get back to that here very soon. I do have a blog post and a new episode to post on there, so that stuff will go up there today. Anyways, the linuxcast.org is where you'll find all that stuff. You can support me on Patreon at patreon.com/thelinuxcast. You can email me at email@thelinuxcast.org. I should say you can email us if you want to do so. The traditional way, email is probably the best way to contact us. I do read the emails. I'm just atrocious at answering them. So if you email me and I haven't answered you back, don't take it personally. I don't answer Tyler back if you email me. I mean, and I know him, so it's just I'm really bad at responding to email. So I apologize for that. You can subscribe to Tyler on YouTube. He does have a YouTube channel. It's just dusty. It's one day he'll dust that thing off there and come back to it. We hope anyways. But anyways, you can subscribe to him on YouTube at youtube.com/ZaniOG. He's also on Odyssey, Discord, and I think that's it. Finally, you can subscribe to the Linuxcast on YouTube at youtube.com/LinuxCast. I appreciate everybody who does do that. So thank you so very, very much. And also, if you want to find any of this stuff, if you don't want to type in the links or whatever, and you just want to go to the website, you can do so. thelinuxcast.org/contact is where you find all of this stuff. So head on over there. It's awesome. So that is the contact information, the best one I've ever done. I'm just going to put that out there. So now moving on to the main topics of the show. So as is usual, we each pick 3 favorite links of news that we can share with you for the week, and we've done so this week as well. And we've done way better this week at making things that are more current. These are not 3 weeks old like the last ones. So, as is usual, Tyler goes first. So, Tyler, your first one.
Mine is going to be Linux on Apple Silicon has gotten a crap ton better. So, I'm kind of waiting just to, right now, like this kind of update is that the Apple Silicon chips, you can now run, obviously, Linux on them, but they've added in like very much alpha quality OpenGL2 support, and so you can run GNOME, and I think they talk about GNOME, Plasma. I don't know if they mention anything else, but I know those 2 are mentioned. So you can run those with hardware acceleration. Vulkan expansion is like on the way. They're working on it, but I'm just waiting a little bit longer for this to mature, and I will definitely be giving it a shot on my MacBook. But apparently you can get Quake 3 running at 4K 60 FPS.
I'd find that more impressive if Quake 3 didn't run on everything.
Exactly. But I mean, it still is neat just knowing how difficult this kind of stuff is. Like
the only thing that'd be less impressive is if they said Doom ran on it.
Yeah. But I mean, it still is wild. This is not something that's getting any kind of help from Apple. It's all just a very passionate project. So
yeah,
very cool.
If you guys watch so there's a guy, I think his name is Hector somebody. I can't remember his last name. I apologize for that. But he live streams sometimes when he's fixing bugs and coding for this. And he's my hero because he uses so many tabs. It's wonderful. like that guy uses tabs like I use workspaces, only it's way. I mean, he uses Kate for his IDE. And he has sometimes like 40 or 50 tabs open in split pane. Like each one has tabs. He uses tabs in the terminal. It's so like I have no clue what he's doing, but I watch his live streams just because I'm so impressed with his workflow. So it'd be interesting to see when you do put this on your MacBook, how that works out for you. Because
Mhm.
I thought because okay, so this is all your fault, by the way. I don't know if I talked about this before, but I'm in the process of looking for a new laptop, and I'm always going to buy used. I never buy anything new. And so I decided I was going to just browse eBay. And then last week you told me you got a MacBook, and I was like, that sounds like a good idea. I did not do it, but I thought about it for longer than I care to admit. But I was because I was thinking, I was like, what? DaVinci Resolve will work on it. Premiere will work on it, so I could actually edit my videos on a system that actually has good video editors. like my biggest complaint about Linux has always been the video editors, and using a different platform would solve that problem. But I like Linux too much. I just do. So yeah, I'm gonna end up getting an XPS probably someday. I haven't really decided yet. I keep waffling.
Those are nice.
But yeah.
Wait, waffling?
Waffling, changing my mind.
Yeah.
It's a Michigan saying. I can't help it. Anyway, yeah. So I came close, but if I had pulled the trigger, I probably would have immediately put this on there. I don't think I'd care for Mac OS. I don't like iOS anymore. Like I tried to go back to iOS for a little while. It did not work out. All right. So my first one. So I'd actually never heard of this company before because I'm not big into security cameras. I don't really, need a security camera. I live in the middle of nowhere. We'll see you coming. Okay. I'm just saying. But anyways, the Eufy is apparently a very big brand when it comes to security cameras, and their big claim was that they were very secure, and it turns out not so much. Apparently, if you just manage to basically spam a whole bunch of different URLs, you could actually log directly into their cameras. It would bypass the cloud servers, everything. Even if you ran it through HomeKit, which is encrypted, you could still manage to do a drive-by on their cameras and other equipment and basically log into the camera without any credentials or encryption bypass at all. It just was there streaming to everybody, no matter what. And the thing about this is first of all, not surprising that a Internet of Things thing has a security vulnerability. They all do. Okay, they all do. That's not a surprise. What was a surprise was how horrible this company's response was. Basically what they said from what I've read is it's not a bug, it's a feature. Apparently.
Yeah.
And it's just not has been, and we're even worse on top of that. It was like the security firm that found this out did the thing that the security firm is supposed to do. They told Eufy, or however the hell you say it, told them about the bug weeks or maybe a month or however long beforehand, so they could fix it before the bug was announced. Just like you're supposed to do if you find a bug. You go to the company and say, hey, you guys should fix this before it gets announced, so that it can't be exploited. And Eufy was like, nah, man, we don't need to do that. It's just not.
Well, they also had some pretty crappy marketing because they were heavily implying in their marketing that their security cameras were local, not online in the first place. So, Eufy is kind of, it just seems like a very untrustworthy company. So, hopefully nobody around here, watching the podcast actually has one, because if you do, there's a URL that somebody can just slap into a browser and just see your camera.
Yeah, and apparently it's not that hard to guess because they're all similar URLs. So it'd just be a matter of, basically you could make a bash script or whatever to just get it to try a whole bunch of URLs, and when it succeeds, it would pop up a browser. It would not take that long. Wouldn't even probably could do it on your MacBook.
It's so creepy, man.
So, like I said at the beginning, it's not surprising that a Internet of Things thing has a security vulnerability, because they all do. None of them are secure in the way you hope they would be. They all have something goes wrong with them. And even if you manage something locally where you're 100% sure that it's only ever on your enclosed firewall system, there's probably still a way in. And that's the danger of having cameras in your house. Okay, once you take that step, you're inviting, at least in my opinion, problems, simply because you add an extra attack vector to your system that isn't going to be as secure as a computer can be. At least with a computer, you have the option to install a simple firewall, or you can install a hardware firewall or whatever. And cameras and stuff like that don't necessarily, from things that I've read, always mesh well with that stuff, because a lot of time, I mean, especially if you buy a camera from a very large company, most of them have like upload to cloud. It's going to be amazing. You can view your camera from anywhere. That doesn't sound like a really good idea to me, because if you can access it, probably somebody else can too. So yeah, I would never put cameras in my house. Maybe outside of it if I was lived in a.
Well, I mean, outside makes sense. Totally. Because, if somebody comes by, does something to your house, or, it's just acting a fool, I get that. And also, it's also not just, having video footage of you walking around outside is just different than inside of your own home. Because, the odds that you forget pants in the outdoors versus indoors are two totally different things. And I just don't get why you would really want to have cameras on the inside of your house.
I mean, maybe in certain places, like a nanny cam or something like that, where you want to watch your nanny as she's taking care of your kids or whatever. That's something that's been popular for a very long time. So that, if your nanny turns out to be an abusive prick, you can catch them on camera, and hopefully catch them. But that's a very unique situation. I know a lot of people who put cameras all over their house, and in weird places like the kitchen. What do you need a camera in the kitchen for? It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, how else are you supposed to do your cooking show, Matt? Come on.
Yeah, because that's exactly what I'm the next Gordon Ramsay. I'm just in there just cursing up a storm. It's just really
Where
bad.
the fuck are the truffles?
Yeah.
How the fuck am I supposed to make this shit?
Raw, damn it, raw. That's so bad. Cameras in the bedroom and bathroom. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm sure some people do that. I don't know, but people do that. They get those Amazon show things, right? That were supposed to be for video chats, and they use them as alarm clocks next to their bed, and they have cameras on them. If you trust Amazon so much, I mean, maybe you just upload your porn to AWS. I mean, it's just it doesn't make it. I don't understand that. I mean, they have a hardware switch that you can close the camera, but you got to remember to do that. You know what I mean? And it's a switch that you actually have to walk up to the thing and turn on. It's the same thing. It's the Brio comes with that little, that little piece of plastic that you're supposed to be able to put over it so it blocks the Brio.
Yeah.
Have you ever used that?
No.
Me neither. That's right there. That's the point.
Well, as far as I know, most Logitech webcams have lights on them. As far as I know, the Brio does too. And the way that they're wired, when they're being used, when the electricity is being ran through them, it runs through the light before it goes to the camera. So no matter what, if the camera is being accessed, that light will be on. So most Logitech cameras, I don't think it's really that big of a deal, but I mean, most of them also, no matter what, even the ones with the lights, I think every one of the Pro C9, 20 line, they all do that. but they also still come with the plastic clips to put over them,
Yeah.
which is like, I like that. Like, even if
Oh, I'm glad
there's
it
no chance
happens,
of
but
you
I'm
not
pretty
knowing.
sure that the weird thing about the Brio is it comes with that plastic clip, but it almost immediately gets lost, like
Yeah.
because it's not
Yeah.
connected whatsoever. With the Aver Media one that I had before this, it had one that was attached that you could rotate into place. That was a nice
Mm.
design. Still never used it. Mainly because if somebody turned it on, all they're gonna see is this blank wall or me sitting in front of my computer. You know, la di da. If it was pointed somewhere else, then I would worry about it more. But um, still, I don't know. Cameras in your house, just unless it's a webcam, and even then, you should just be very cautious because
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you know it's just shit happens. There's bad actors out there, and obviously things like the Eufy guys don't make it any easier or harder. I guess I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
to stay secure. Anyways, that's it for that one. Let's move on to the next one. Tyler, your next one.
Uh, so like XFCE got an update. So like, no, the year is not 2076. It's still 2022, and we're getting new XFCE. All right, like, it's, as far as I know, it's not technically released, which is convenient, but it's actually coming. So we actually have some worthwhile updates. They've updated some of the look of things. Um, they've got, I believe, the file manager now has like image previews, and the way that it's shown off in the pictures, it looks really nice. Like on the side where you have, like your kind of bookmarked places, your attached drives, stuff like that. Like, it'll pop up a little square with the image preview of what you got selected, which I think that's really nice. And really, it's just got a whole bunch of updates, which
Yeah.
XFCE is definitely deserving of. And I also love how this article starts off. Like, its opening line is pretty good. XFCE is a slow moving, sensible Linux desktop option. Like, I like how they worded that. Like, it very
Yeah.
much is a very sensible desktop. Like, if you like it day one, odds are 5 years from whenever you start, it's probably going to be the same, if not slightly better. Like,
Yeah.
not a ton, but maybe slightly. Pretty good.
All right. So I have a couple things to say. So first, XFCE is one of my favorite desktop environments, maybe even the favorite. But it's never going to be very popular on a lot of distros, especially if you install it yourself. So if you install it in like Arch or Fedora or like that on a distro that you already have installed and you just install it from the repos, you get the ugliest default setup in the history of the world. I mean, it is so bad. Like it looks like it looks like that thing hasn't changed since 1997 when it first came out. It is that bad, and it immediately gives you such a horrible first impression of XFC. If that's your first impression of it, if they did a, I mean, the thing is about XFC is you can make it look however you like. It's like KDE Lite. It doesn't have quite as many settings, but you can do so much with it. If they just put a little effort into making that default look of XFCE better, I mean, it'd be hands down like very popular, like instantaneously. Well, I mean, I don't know about that, but it's still less people would turn away from it immediately because of that initial first impression. So that's honestly that's my biggest problem with XFC is that initial thing. Even though I know how to customize it, because
I mean, no, your argument still stands. There's no real reason that they can't just whip together a real nice theme for it. Like, when you can go to Unix porn and find like pictures of people using XFC, and you're like, and if you put it right side by side, their like default desktop, you're like, what the hell happened when y'all were like, this is the one that we want to represent the like XFC at its finest? Like, no,
yeah.
because some 12-year-old on Unix porn will do like 2 hours worth of work and make XFC look fantastic.
And that's the thing is like XFCE is actually one of the desktop environments that's easy to transfer from computer to computer because you can just transfer the files, right? You can transfer it has configuration files. And they could just steal someone's off Unix porn. Like it wouldn't even take them any time. All they'd have to do is say, hey, we're going to use this as the default XFCE thing. And I'm sure whoever's race they were using would be like, that's awesome. Here, go ahead. I'll even maintain it for you. But no. Anyways, that's the XFCE. I'm glad that it's still slowly getting wrong because there was some rumors that I think maybe I'm making this up in my head, but I'm pretty sure that I read that the main guy there decided he was going to go start working on Elementary OS. Maybe he was just considering it. I don't know. I just have a vague memory of that happening maybe last year or something. So it's good that they're still pulling out, just updates every 2 years, just little features. You're never going to get a lot of, like grand, huge features in XFCE, and that's why a lot of people like it. So, the person in the chat who's asking for my bark and fig, all my dot files are in my GitLab. The link is in the video description. You can find those there. It's i3. It's good. Anyways, and it is new. I made a video about it yesterday. Anyways, that's that. So I'm moving on to the next one. This is actually the topic that I was looking forward to most this week because I love bitching about Mozilla. So Mozilla.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to stop here for a second because you worried me there for a second because I genuinely was scared that you were about to say because I love talking about the metaverse, and I was gonna be like, yes.
No, not at all. Not even a little bit.
God,
we talked about it before, and the metaverse is stupid. And I think everyone outside of the developers who developed the metaverse think that it's stupid. Although I was talking to someone who said the other day that disagreed with me, that said that the metaverse has potential. And I was just like, I just looked at them funny. Like, no, it doesn't.
Well, I mean, hold on. Just to just to be the devil's advocate here. I mean, like he kind of does have a point because but that doesn't mean the point is very good because that's equivalent to saying, well, there's plenty of games that have a good shot of making money. Like, I mean, that's effectively what he's saying.
Yeah. All right. So I'll get to the news thing.
Let's go to the article.
Let's just go. So Mozilla has been doing stuff in the metaverse for a little while. It's Metaverse Space, Mozilla Spaces or something like that. But recently they decided that they're going to buy a company called Active Replica, which is a Vancouver-based startup that is developing a web-based metaverse. And it doesn't say how much they spent on this company, but I would expect it to be some large amount of money. I would hope not.
I hope they got it for cents on the dollar.
It doesn't say in this article how much, as far as I can tell, how much they spent on it, but I would guess that it was, in the millions of dollars. I mean, you're not going to buy something like this for 10 grand, you know what I mean? So it's going to be a lot of money. All right. So honestly,
exactly. I mean, I'd only give them 2 for it, but
I wouldn't, I say this knowing that company probably employs some people, and, I'm all for giving developers jobs and stuff like that, but their product is stupid. I don't even know what it was. All I know is that it has to do with developing a web-based metaverse, and you just stopped me right there. But that's not even the bad part. The bad part is that Mozilla continues to do everything in its power to do everything that it shouldn't. We've talked about this before. Really, what they need to do, always, they need to focus on making a good browser. That's what they need to focus on doing. They don't need to focus on making a metaverse or making a VPN or...
Well, wait, Matt. Let's give them credit. This acquisition makes 100% sense now. I mean, I don't know about you, but every time I'm sitting down in front of Firefox or any browser for that matter, I'm like, the main issue with this is I'm not in the metaverse. Like... That's my biggest issue with every browser.
Was exactly my argument to the guy who said that the metaverse makes sense. Is like the metaverse is a thing that forgets that the real world exists.
Yeah.
VR has a place in the world. It's called gaming. Tyler, you like to use VR. It's really good for gaming, right?
Love it.
And if a big company that's not Facebook ever gets into it, like Apple or basically just Apple,
I would say gets into it and is competitive at lower price points.
Well,
I have like Facebook headsets, and most people have them just because they're so cheap.
The thing is,
want someone else to come in.
If Apple were to get into VR, just VR, and I'm talking about AR, I'll talk about that in a second. If they were to get into VR, their stuff would not be cheap. But what they would do is they'd spawn a whole bunch of people to start working on it. Other small companies, and probably mostly Asian companies that would start getting into VR and stuff like that, because they'd see a market for it. Because once Apple gets into a market, there is a market for it. As of right now, it's just Meta, and while there's a market for it, it's very small. Once Apple gets into it, it would be very big. But the argument is that it's good for gaming. It's not good. Reality exists. Like people when you want. All right, so the whole idea from the metaverse is, from what I can tell, is to allow people to meet in a virtual space. We have that. It's called Zoom. Okay. And basically what they're doing, from what I've seen so far, is they're taking Zoom and basically replacing actual images and videos of people with cartoon avatars with no legs. Although,
crappy ones.
Right.
Crappy avatars.
A few years ago, Apple introduced something on the iPhone called what the hell is their little animated emojis called? Memojis. They call them memojis, right? And they were cool for like 5 seconds. Everybody made one when they had an iPhone. You got on there. Maybe you sent somebody a text message because you could record yourself as a memoji and it would talk and stuff. And there could be a voice there. It was cool the first time. Nobody ever did it again. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there that says, "Oh, I use memojis all the time." You wouldn't do it in a meeting. Like if you work a job where you take meetings and you work from home, you don't want to be a memoji. You don't want to be a cartoon avatar and look at a cartoon avatar of your boss. As someone who takes these meetings all the time for my job, one of the things that I rely on, even though I work remotely, is body language of people on camera, their facial expressions. And maybe someday VR will get to the point where it can map facial expressions and put them pop. But then even if it gets that good, the question then becomes, why? We had that. It was a webcam.
Yeah.
We've had it since the 90s.
I think kind of like the biggest issue with the whole idea of the metaverse and us connecting in this way is none of it adds anything useful at all. And you don't even really have to go down into will it work, or justifying how we're going to use it and everything. Just think about it like this. Are we ever going to get to a point where if you're doing a serious business meeting and there's the potential for layoffs on the table, it's just a very serious business meeting, do you want to be doing it in the environment where you could possibly see your employees or bosses' gamer tags over their heads as you're talking about laying off 200 employees or some shit?
Right. And it's a good point. These meetings are usually serious business meetings, and even the part where you're even in brainstorming meetings where you maybe it's more of a frivolous, happy atmosphere or something like that. I don't know. You still don't want to look at a cartoon while talking to your colleagues. It's just not if webcams didn't exist, then this would maybe be okay because it would provide you with being able to see something. But webcams exist, and sure, it adds a 3D aspect to it. But the thing about VR, and this is the argument that I made with the guy on Mastodon, I think it was on Mastodon, was that the thing that makes the thing that is interesting about this technology really isn't VR itself, it's actually AR. Because AR allows you to not only see digital stuff, but allows you to interact with the physical world. It doesn't forget that the physical world exists. And AR is not here yet. Like we can hold up an iPad and it will measure things and it'll do simple stuff, but it's not like you can, put your glasses on and, actual have like a heads up display in front of you, at least as of right now.
You really like AR, we need the glasses or contacts for it to like really be a thing.
Or Elon Musk putting a chip in your brain or something.
Yeah, just the small things like that.
Turns out he only killed like 15,000 animals or something like that.
Look, it's simple, minor brain surgery. Like
we got this, man. I put rockets. He's like, I put rockets in space. I can definitely do this.
I can definitely put like thousands of wires down your brain. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
I was reading about that, and like it seems like their biggest hurdle outside of actually making it work is figuring out how they're going to charge it. And right now, their idea is that it's wirelessly charged, so that once a day you have to go stand on a wireless charger to charge your chip. Like, it's the best thing ever. Like you get a little ding, your ear dings or something like that, and like, it's time to go wirelessly charge, so you have to go stand on it for a little while, or either that or put it up against your head.
I'm sorry, but that's just like the dumbest thing ever. Like just imagine like I love in science fiction movies like the idea of us having to like becoming more technological and like having to charge always means we don't sleep. But in our dumbass reality, we're gonna need 8 hours of sleep, and at some point, we're gonna need like 4 hours of charging throughout the day.
You can just imagine, dude. Because one thing we all know about batteries is that eventually they won't take a charge anymore. So when you need a new battery, brain surgery again.
Again, just some minor brain surgery, nothing to be worried about. All right.
Either that, or there's going to be a cord permanently attached to your ear that goes down to a battery and a fanny pack. Dude, it's not a fanny pack, it's a merce, okay? Oh, that's so good.
So
like I just imagine somebody putting a AAA battery in their ear.
Well, I do want to go ahead and say when it comes to like VR and stuff, I think we will definitely push towards AR, and like I think VR is not something that's like just a fad and it's going to go away. But I think kind of the thing that a lot of people don't realize when it comes to metaverses and that kind of shit is I think a lot of the people investing in those kind of ideas don't have VR headsets, or at the very least haven't had them for very long at all. Because one of the things that's really good about VR is being able to go into the virtual like game worlds that you've really liked for a long time and being able to be like completely immersed in that world.
Gaming makes 100% sense when it comes to VR.
It's the hyper realism and the like the being there,
being the character that you're playing, right?
Exactly.
Movies make a lot of sense for VR, because you could be like, even if you're just watching it from the world that that it's set in, it makes sense because you can maybe you can't interact with stuff, but you can see it in a more immersive experience, and it opens up the opportunity for interactive storytelling. If it's not a video game, it's just more like you can interact with the characters, or maybe it's like a choose your own adventure kind of thing. It makes sense for that kind of thing. It does not make sense when it comes to the metaverse, because what they're talking about is basically allowing you to have meetings with South Park characters, Yeah,
well, I mean, even more than that, even the more like fun ones, all they focus on is social interaction, and it's like, we got plenty of options.
Okay, so if the metaverse was ready 2 years ago, when we were all stuck inside and nobody could meet in person, it would have made sense, okay? Like, nobody could go to bars, nobody could go to meetings. Like, this could be fun, and maybe you could gamify it or something like that. You could make it something entertaining. But yes, COVID's still around, but the world is basically mostly open now, and you can go to meetings, you can go to the bar again, and there is no implementation of VR that in the metaverse that will ever take the awesomeness that is actually smelling grass and touching people. Made me sound like with permission. Consent is very important. You know what I mean? There's nothing digitally that can take the place of actually talking to someone in person. You know what I mean? It can't. You can't drink a beer in the metaverse and expect yourself to actually have a beer. You know?
Yeah, or touch people. Man.
Right, or touch people. Anyways, Zero Linux, thanks for the super chat. Awesome window manager is not awesome. There's my one line right there. It's okay. I don't know. I talked about it a little bit earlier. I'm not a big fan of Lua. Anyways, that's it. That's it for the metaverse. Well, you know, actually, before we move on, we bitched about the metaverse for a while, and the thing that we kind of missed out on, and the point that I actually wanted to get to, was that Mozilla is paying money and investing money in the metaverse, and someone
this will make Firefox so much better.
So much better. But the thing is like somebody on Mastodon told me, like, well, if the metaverse is going to exist, isn't it better that there's at least a company that's interested in open source having a role in it, you know? And I suppose you could argue that it's good for a company that is interested in open source to create their own metaverse so that Facebook's not the only one if it does take off. But I don't think it's going to take off. I mean, I've been wrong before, but I don't think I'm wrong this time. I don't think that I've talked to many, many people about the metaverse on social media, in my family, you know, in real life, you know, and so most of them don't know what it is. And the people who do know what it is think it's the stupidest idea ever. Now, obviously, there are exceptions. There are people who say, oh, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it sounds good. But for the most part...
Yeah, but you don't know those people. Like, that's the problem. Like, I don't really know anybody who, who will sit down, like, talk with me as a real person who's like, yeah, the metaverse is the shit. Like, I definitely hear people who are like, I mean, there's a chance. Like, I mean, I'm not really
I think
sure
the people who
about
think the people who thinks that it's going to be really cool are the people who would use it exactly one time, like a memoji, and then realize, yeah, it turns out not being in the physical world and interacting with people not as good as it being in the physical world interacting with people.
No.
The idea I think they had behind, I'm still ignoring Mozilla here for a second, but the idea I think that they had behind the metaverse is that by cartoonizing everything, basically making everything an avatar, removes the onerous, you know, horribleness that is meetings. But that's being in person or even being on a webcam with someone isn't what makes a meeting bad. What makes a meeting bad is that it's a meeting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you have to be there. Like, it's just that simple fact.
Like the nature of a meeting that you don't want to go to isn't going to be changed by the fact that your boss has created themselves a avatar with leopard pants, you know? You know, that doesn't change the fact that you're at a meeting that you don't want to go to. So, it doesn't solve, like you said earlier, it doesn't solve any problems. But the thing is like Mozilla. All right, open letter time to Mozilla. Dear Mozilla, stop spending money on stupid shit. You don't have unlimited amounts, even though sometimes you act like you do. Sincerely, everyone. Like, we know that you have this giant spigot of money that comes from Google every few years. Eventually, that's going to dry up. Eventually Google will be like, yeah, maybe we don't want to send them $400 million every year or whatever it is. Also,
or, you know, like, maybe a smart business tactic might be to like reinvest in the one thing that keeps your company afloat and like makes you competitive and like, I don't know, like noteworthy.
Yeah, like Firefox, and you know they're doing some wonderful things with Thunderbird, and they're gonna do like a redesign of it. You know
Yeah,
that
no one really uses it, man. Come on. Like,
Linux needs
I
a
mean,
good
yes, there's a lot of people that use it, but compared to like
right,
most
but
things,
at least it makes sense because it exists and people do use it, and there's a
yeah,
market for it, and you know people use email clients. They don't give a rat's
yes,
ass about the
that's
metaverse.
true.
Okay, gotta stop
But I
this.
also don't think that most people are complaining about Thunderbird. However, I'm pretty sure everyone can think of a couple, you know, things that Firefox could do to improve its current standing. Like, so
They could
just,
take all the money and that they're spending on the metaverse and put it into advertising. You know, uh, it would have
I mean,
just
like, look, if you're just going to burn money, like, burn it on something good,
well,
not like,
some of the I mean not all, obviously there's technological problems with Firefox, but one of the biggest issues that they have is that most people don't even know that exists anymore. Well, I was talking to somebody like, oh, Firefox, is that still a thing? Like, is that still around? It'd be like if Netscape Navigator was still around and nobody knew it. You know, um, technically that's Firefox. It still exists. A lot of people use it. Millions of people use it, but you know, it's Chrome has become like facial tissue. When you grab a facial tissue, you know, you call
mhm,
it Kleenex even if it's off-brand. You know, Google and Chrome have become basically the same thing. When you open up a browser, you assume that it's Chrome. You know, Edge is
mhm.
kind of nudged its way in there because you can't uninstall it from Windows. You know, unless you like blow up your computer or something. I guess I don't know. But you know, people use Chrome. I mean, that's the thing that they use, and because it's default, they assume that that's the only option. So if they wanted to spend some money on something that may or may not work, some advertising may, you know, be a good idea. Okay. Moving on to the next one, we gotta. This is getting my blood pressure up. I always bitch at Mozilla. Like I use Firefox as my daily driver, but sometimes I wish it didn't. It just makes me mad. All right, Tyler, your next one.
So Proton Experimental has been upgraded to fix EA screwing up shit, which is like should be no surprise,
All right.
and particularly just on Linux in general. I mean, it's the article's framed like with it mentioning the Steam Deck and stuff, but I mean, it's a Linux issue. That's not a Linux issue. It's EA causing Linux to have an issue, which is no surprise because if you're unfamiliar with gaming and kind of out of the loop, let me go ahead and let you know Electronic Arts is a publisher that, well, if you're one of their customers, they live by a philosophy of fuck you, give me your money. And also, by the way, I also hate you and will make your life a living hell. Please come again next year to buy our next overpriced game. See you then. And then they
Madden
spit in your
2023,
face.
man.
Yeah. EA is just, they're a, I genuinely don't understand how there's so many game publishers that everyone hates, like very openly, has no respect for, and also like genuinely wishes that they would just stop existing, and yet they're seen as industry leaders, and people still keep buying their games that are guaranteed to be filled with just shit. But anyway, that's completely off the topic. So, like you know, Valve's done a good job. They've fixed EA causing issues where they, I guess they had a new desktop like launcher or something, but some of their games and stuff was just failing to launch and just not working. So
Well, because
those have been
they moved
fixed.
to something called EA Desktop because they abandoned Origin.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I don't know if that like I'm gonna assume that's like supposed to be their new launcher, or I don't know if it's like just supposed to like fill the holes that were like left by Origin, and it's not actually like a launcher. But
I think it's
I don't
launch,
know.
but I'm not actually sure. Uh, Either
Yeah,
way, we could, even as a non-gamer. gamer, I'm here to tell you that launchers are freaking dumb. Like, can we
Yep.
not do that anymore? Like, that doesn't seem like
I
it was never a good idea that I had to have six
yeah.
different, launchers on my system in order to play the games that I want, even though and it's especially stupid when you get your game through Steam because that's the launcher, okay?
Mhm. Mhm.
It's just so dumb, and I think they did it because they wanted to have their own store or they wanted to control DRM or something like that. But it's a horrible consumer experience, and nobody likes the
Yeah,
launcher.
like that's why I don't get why like so many publishers keep doing it. It's like there's like no one in the community that is happy with your launcher ever. The only time you'll ever hear someone talk nicely about a launcher or say that they need it is because the launcher has given them so much free shit that's why they want it.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
So
Like,
last year, Steam was having a sale on the EA Pass, and some of my favorite games of all time are EA games. Like I like The Sims 4. I like back in the day before City Skylines was a thing. I like The Sim City, the early Sim City games. Anyways, they totally effed that whole thing up. And
yeah.
the Battlefront games are really really good, even though I'm horrible at them. And the EA Pass has all those games. And I was like, hey, you want to? It was like $10 for a whole year. And I was like, cool. I have $10. Even if half the games don't work on Linux, there's still half that do. You know, and this was a year ago, so Proton, the Steam Deck wasn't out quite yet. Maybe it was even 2 years ago, and so Proton wasn't quite where it is right now. And so I paid the $10, and the first thing it popped up was like, hey, you got to install Origin on Linux. I was like, you know what? Shoot me now. It's just so bad. All right. Moving on to the last one of the day. This is mine. And yeah, this is normally I avoid political topics on the podcast, but we're going to talk about this for a little while. Especially considering your recent switch into the Apple ecosystem. So, Apple, in their usual fashion, has kowtowed to China. For those of you guys who don't know and don't pay attention to the news, China has, for basically since the beginning of the pandemic, continued to lock down periodically because of COVID. When they discover COVID somewhere, they lock down entire neighborhoods, entire buildings, and stuff like that. So, it's been a pain in the rear end for like all their people. And so the citizens finally decided they had enough of that shit and decided to protest. And they were using their Apple iPhones because the iPhone is still really big in China, even though Android is bigger. They were using the AirDrop functionality, which is device to device and doesn't ever interact with the server, to send important details about meetups and protests and stuff like that. And Apple decided that they were going to, or China, I guess, contacted Apple and said, "Hey, we don't like this. Make it harder." So that's what they did. They made it harder. It made it so that you had to basically. It says AirDrop, which allows users to share content between Apple devices, has become important. The feature relies on wireless connections. That's just the key points there. What they made it so that they had to reconnect every like 5-10 minutes or something like that. Anyways, they made it more onerous in order to actually do. And the thing is, like, oh, here's what it is. Under the update, iPhones can now only set their AirDrop to receive messages from everyone for 10 minutes before switching off. The other settings allow for file sharing between contacts only or receiving off. And the thing is, like, Apple says, they claim that this is going to be a feature that is rolling out to everyone next year. But they just did it in China during the protests. So everybody knows that they did it because China asked them to do it. And obviously, this isn't the first time that China has, or not the first time Apple has made concessions to China to basically, they made it so all iCloud storage for citizens in China is stored in China and is susceptible to all their laws there. So they've done several things like that. So this is not a surprise to anybody, but it's still kind of a shitty move. So, yeah.
No.
Go Apple. Good job, guys.
Well, I'm just not surprised by this kind of stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why, but like people seem to get very surprised when companies who operate in China do like
Yeah.
do bow down to China. It's like I don't agree with it. I think like look, if you have to like just do whatever China tells you to, and it's normally not in the best interest of like the people you sell your products to, you probably shouldn't be doing like business there. But I don't know why
But
people act like this is
yeah,
surprising.
but there's 2
Like,
billion people there and they all want to buy your products and they have
well,
money and money is good. Right?
really, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, I don't think that's like really my point. Like my point is just there's so many people who act like this kind of stuff is surprising. It's
Yeah.
like, no, like they've been operating in China, and I think we all know just how questionable Apple products, like in their
Hmm.
like treatment of the people who make them, how questionable that is.
Well, I mean, the real problem here isn't that they do it in China because all the companies have to do it in China. If you want to do business in China, you follow the rules. That's just kind of the way things go. Otherwise, they won't let you do business in China. But the thing is that if Apple is willing to do this for China, they're obviously going to be willing to do it for other countries as well, and they have the capabilities of doing it. And the bigger point here is that it undermines their whole claim of privacy first. Like everything's done on the device. There's end-to-end encryption. Nobody has access to your stuff. We're way better than Android on this stuff. It's you can watch a Apple keynote, and the thing that they say the most through the whole thing is safe and secure over and over and over and over again. Uh, this doesn't necessarily make it look like everything's safe and secure when you do this kind of stuff, and it just they always have had this reputation of being more secure than Google and stuff like that, and less interested in selling your data. And while maybe they are less interested in selling your data because they're not well, I mean they are an advertising company, but not as big as Google. They it's still it tarnishes that reputation when they do stuff like this over and over and over again. So, yeah. But
And for my own sake, since I'm using Apple now, I hope they'll actually try and keep up that reputation and not just tarnish it. Like, it'd be nice.
well,
But,
when
we'll see.
once you're in, man, you don't leave.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've left before, but trust me when I say, like, I know just how long it takes to get out of the ecosystem. Like, once you're in it, man, it's hard. It's hard to leave. Like them walls, man, they're just so high around the garden.
And they're
Like,
slippery and they
gotta get
got barbed wire at the top. And
yeah, yeah. And then there's like machine gunners at the top. Like it's wild, you know? So it takes a lot of time. Oh, whoops, dropping stuff. But yeah, takes a lot of time.
don't
But
want to drop your Apple stuff. Okay.
yeah, no.
All right, moving on to the last section of the show. We're done with the news. That is the news. We're moving on to the last section. The last section is creatively named Thingies of the Week. Now, we could have called this section anything, of course. We could have been very creative and stole something from other shows that do similar things at the end of their show, like tips of the week or tricks of the week or apps of the week. But no, we did not do that. Instead, we called them Thingies of the Week because, well, we're 14-year-old boys and it sounded cool. Anyways, Tyler, your thingy of the week.
Mine is kind of going to be an interesting one to talk about. So it's called Angel Studios, and it's like a kind of like a TV network app, but not. It's very interesting. The reason I wanted to like talk about it and kind of show it off is it not really necessarily about the content that you would use it for. They have apps for Android, iOS, and like I'm pretty sure like all of the Fire TV sticks and like all of that stuff. But it's essentially a Christian like network, but it's all crowd funded, and they do very high production value, like TV shows and movies, and it's all like crowdsourced, crowd funded, and they have just a very interesting way of doing the streaming. They all like it's all hosted and streamed through them, and it's all supported by people who watch. So you can like buy different packages, and you pay for the streaming costs for so many different people. And when you do that, like every time you watch an episode, if you haven't paid or like whatever for it, you get like a little message telling you who like what username paid for like you to be able to watch that episode, and like you can send them a thank you note. And it's such a cool concept for funding something like just a crowd funded like entertainment program network. It's very interesting. So I kind of just wanted to talk about that because I haven't seen anything else really quite like it. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'll have to give that a look because it does sound very interesting. All right, so mine is also entertainment based. Mine is called Calibre, and it's been around for a very long time. The UI is horrible. I'm just gonna put that right up front. The UI is not very good at all. But
are we are we talking worse than Audacity?
Probably on a similar level. The icons are really big. They don't look very modern. There's buttons in weird places and hidden kind of, so that like if you want to get to the jobs, it's in the lower right hand corner, but you don't see it very good. So whatever. Anyways, basically what Calibre is a ebook library manager, and it will do other things other than ebooks as well. If you get into fan fiction or any kind of stuff like that, it basically manages your library. It's not a reader, although I think it probably does that. But basically what it is it manages your ebooks. And at least in theory, it allows you to send your ebooks to ebook devices if they have that capability. And I recently got a Kindle because they basically give them away on Black Friday. So I was like, might as well. If you're going to just give me one, I'll take it. And I got it. And I'm a big reader. Like I read a lot. Even outside of my job, I read, books and fan fiction and stuff like that all the time. So I was like, maybe I'll save my old ass eyes and get myself a e-ink reader that, doesn't have blue light and all this stuff. So I did. And the thing is like, I don't want to give Amazon all of my money to buy books. So I get my books from other places that are cheaper. And to this day and age, there's no easy way to transfer books to the Kindle outside of emailing them. Like literally, that's how they do it. Like they give you an email address, and you can send your books to the device through email. It's like, what is this? The 1990s? It's so silly. But Calibre has this functionality built in where you can just hit send. You enter your email of your device and the email that you want to send from, and as long as it works, it doesn't work very well with Gmail. That's another story. But you can hit this button after you set it up, and it will just send the book you want to your device, to your account on thing, and it's really good. Also, if you are, fastidiously organized person, it's a great way to, organize your ebooks and add metadata and stuff like that from the internet. It's really good. I really, really wish that it worked with like movies and TV shows as well, because that'd be so cool. Like I don't want to send movies or TV shows to my Kindle. That's not what I'm talking about. More if Calibre allowed me to organize, because my movie and TV show collection is just, it's not pretty. like they're in folders all over the place. Like I downloaded all 6 seasons of Lucifer recently, and while they are separated by seasons, they have the traditional naming scheme of shady means of getting things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Like, I don't know anything about that. But
so the naming scheme,
it sounds familiar.
The naming scheme is not very good. So yeah, I wish it did do that, but it doesn't. It's just ebooks as far as I know. But it's really, really good, and obviously free and open source and available. I believe it's even on Windows and Mac if you wanted to give that a try. So yeah, Calibre. That's it for the podcast. If you want to watch this live, we record live every Friday between 3 p.m. Eastern time or so, and around 4:30, 4:45 or so, depending on how long we go. Today we're a little bit over an hour, so we usually record for about an hour. You can obviously come watch us live at youtube.com/LinuxCast. So hit the subscribe button and the bell notification to make sure you don't miss an episode, and all of the other videos that I do, because I do other videos as well. Not nearly as many as I used to. I've been taking way more days off lately because of stuff. So hopefully in the new year that will get back to normal. But anyways, youtube.com/LinuxCast. Before I go, I should take a moment to think. Why is it that at the end of the show, every week, I forget how to talk? Like, it's really bad. Anyways, before I go, I should take a moment to thank my current patrons. That was better. Just go slower and enunciate your words, Matt. You know how to do this. Anyways, thanks to everybody who does support me on Patreon and YouTube. You guys are all absolutely amazing people. Without you, the channel just would not be where it is right now. So thank you so very, very much. I truly do appreciate it. If you'd like to support me, you can do so at patreon.com/LinuxCast. Links for the YouTube and the LiberaPay are in the video description. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next week.